Did you hear what I said, Mr. Green? After the mental evaluation comes back, her visitation will be solely at Mr. Bick's discretion.
Concerned when the father is not seeming responsive to her questions and responsive to her concerns, and she has concerns that go unaddressed, and then she tries to reach out and get help, and it just appears that, you know, she's being penalized, even though the evidence is, well, nobody thinks she's abusing the child and nobody thinks she's not taking care of the child, but that she's doing probably more than most people would. But she's a concerned mom, so I don't know where you draw the line and say, I'm just gonna let this alone with my 3-year-old child with cancer and not worry about it. To this point, all that she knows to do, which now includes coming to this court and asking this judge to assist in making sure this child is taken care of and protected, and her concern with the way this is happening is that it seems to be a move toward some shift against her to modify that she doesn't have custody.
Did you hear what I said, Mr. Green? After the mental evaluation comes back,
and
her visitation will be solely at Mr. Bick's.
He has acted in unsafe ways. He's exposed the child to things he shouldn't, and he's just kind of dismissive about it. And we understand this is a dangerous world. We understand that kids are going to get hurt, but it adds to the level of frustration because of his significant number of years in law enforcement, his knowledge, his training, his experience, and his connections. And so she doesn't have any of that. She's by herself. She's her child's only advocate. And that is what she is trying to do, is be the child's voice and be an advocate for that child and stand up for that child in the best way that she knows. And if the court feels like, well, there's some weight to their arguments as far as, you know, she's going a little bit far, then hopefully this court can finalize that too by putting evaluations in place, measures in place to get independent studies done and have a good picture of what's going on, and so that moving forward there'll be a clear understanding with both parties as to how this child is to be taken care of and who's to take care of this child. And we're asking that while that determination is being made and during the pendency of this case, that because of the mother's concerns, which I believe to be valid, then at least make the visitation supervised so that that will quell that aspect of it, and then we can uphold the current order. I don't think she has any problem doing that. She said she doesn't. She's not willfully intended to violate any court order, and she can certainly and has said she wouldn't do that going forward. Some type of rapid evaluation through Department of Family and Children's Services to this court, but that is still an ongoing and active investigation. And so I think this court kind of can step in and really supersedes that and has more authority to say, hey, I'm going to take over. I'm going to have discretion over what happens with this child. I'm going to make sure this child is safe, and that is why my client is here, Your Honor.
Mr. Cannon.
Your Honor, the evidence today has shown, first of all, they haven't presented one piece of evidence to substantiate any type of abuse of any kind. You know, in her testimony, she says that they have tablets with porn all over it and that the child has access to and has, and that, you know, he's abused the child as many times and all this kind of stuff. But there haven't been any evidence except one little picture of what looks like a rash on the forehead. What there has been plenty of evidence of, and most of it by Ms. Brock's own admission, is that, you know, we've got a child that's 2 years old, and she may have coached the child to say that dad hit him one time, The child comes out just spontaneously at the hospital, and she didn't deny it and said, "Mom hit me." And she said it's because he was standing there. What's really disturbing is a couple of things that came into clear view today. Number one, we had somebody that was diagnosed 15 years ago with bipolar disorder that decided in May to just stop taking her medication without consulting with her doctor, and that's when the real craziness began. Most of the stuff we talked about today has been since then. Most of the wild text messages that we put into evidence have happened since then. So she's not even taking care of herself. She's not taking care of her own mental health. That also explains the paranoia, why she thinks everybody's out against her, why she's having to drag the child all over the state. And if there's anybody harming the child, it's her. Number one, she's keeping the child away from his father when he's supposed to see him. Number two, she's holding a camera on the child, recording, saying stuff like, "Oh, Daddy's mean and Daddy hit you," and all this kind of stuff, coaching him to say that. Apparently having the child call 911 and say stuff. I mean, we're talking about a 2-year-old child. She talked about all these other people who's heard the child make the same allegations, but the day was her day to present evidence, and she didn't present any. I can understand why my client is concerned. And of course, the defects investigator testified that they're concerned. She's off her meds. She seems to think that's fine. She hasn't said she's going to go to her doctor and get that straightened out. She's playing games with Mr. Biddick. She's acting like she's in McRae when she's really in Macon, and she's got him chasing around trying to pick his child up, and then says, "Oh, well, if he, had looked at my text, I said I was in one of Robin's, or I was here, or I was there." And plus, his concerns that he made about her maintaining the YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and that stuff's important. Even after all he's been through, he says, "I don't think she's abusing the child," and but he's worried about neglect, because if you have a person with these kind of psychological diagnoses and they're not on their meds, manic depressives. I do Social Security disability cases. Sometimes they're in the bed for a week, and then sometimes they're up cleaning the house for a week. That's what happens when they're not properly medicated and treated. She's putting him through a lot, and she's putting his child through a lot. And, she needs to deal with her own problems, and we're asking at this point in time that he be granted temporary primary custody.
I received SSI for Isaac for his cancer, and that's, I believe it's 384, could be 364, 384.
So that's for Isaac. All right. On a temporary basis, the court awards to the plaintiff temporary sole custody of Isaac. Ms. Brock is not to have any visitation with the child until she has a complete mental evaluation, and then upon that occurring, until this matter comes back before the court, her visitation will be solely at the discretion.
Did you hear what I said,
Mr.
Green?
After the mental evaluation comes back, the manner her visitation will be solely at Mr. Bick's. The Social Security check of 384 will be redirected. If it's not already going to Mr. Bick, it will be redirected to Mr. Bick. Ms. Brock will sign all necessary papers within 10 days to have it redirected, and that'll be her obligation as far as child support in this matter on a temporary basis.
We would assume this, but he's been paying her child support. We assume that we suspended.
Oh, yeah, at the base. He'll have all decision-making powers. His obligation to pay support abates. Any other questions, Mr. Cannon? Mr. Cannon, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Green?
As to the mental evaluation, does the court have any guidelines, or is it up to her discretion completely, or?
Did you hear what I said, Mr. Green? After the mental evaluation comes back, her visitation will be solely at Mr. Bick's discretion.